It's analogy time. This is one of my favorite things to do, is try to take something somewhat complex and make it a lot more relatable and simplified. So I'm going to relate the mechanics of the knee, that extensor mechanism of the kneecap, and a sled or a sleigh in bobsledding. So bear with me here. We're going to come back to this throughout, and I constantly reference it. And I really do think that it will help to, I hope it will, help to make a little more sense about what is some of the cause of this runner's knee. So bear with me. So we've got the femur. We just took the femur, lifted it up, looked straight up at an inferior upwards view. The top part, which articulates with the tibia that makes up the knee, we have your femoral condyle. In the middle of this, it's like a bowl or concave or like a sled path. We're going to call this a pathway. So you can see the replication of the pathway of the femur and the pathway of the bobsled. So next, what goes in that pathway? We've got the patella, or the kneecap. This is the front view. And then if we turn it around and look at the back, there's this elevation, kind of like the bottom of a bobsled, where it fits in nicely. There's a groove, it fits into there, and that represents the sled. So of your patella, of your kneecap, the sleigh, we've got 4 participants. Athletes, I'm not really sure what they're called, bobs, we'll call them bob. There's 4 of them. You can see where I'm going with this. That represents your 4 quadricep muscles. Vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, and rectus femoris. All, there are different sizes, they've got a little bit of different pull, they weigh a bit different. We'll see how that ties in later. So why I like this picture in this depiction. So you've got your starting line. Behind that starting line, if this represents back to our analogy, your kneecap, that first 10 degrees of bending, when it's straight to 10 degrees of bending, the bobsled is not yet in the track. Your kneecap, that first 10 degrees, is not yet set within that femoral groove. And so that's important. There's not a lot of stress on it. I can kind of move it side to side. There's not a lot of compression of the back of the sled into the course or the joint, because there's not the guys in, there's not the weight in it yet. As they start pushing, once they get past that point, all 4 guys, they hop in. And so once we get to that 10 degrees of knee flexion, that's where we start to set it into the groove, and we start adding weight to it, and we add load to it. The further that we bend down, the more weight or compression on the back of that sled to that groove is going to be. So how does this play into what we're talking about